Good afternoon, everybody. It's Wednesday, April 9th, 2025. It's 1 o'clock. Call this meeting to order. So I've got Bill Sport,
Here.
Paul Winchester, yeah, Jeff Byerly, and Becky Carrier. No, she's not on, not here. Okay, and then I do see Elton Rocky. You are on Zoom. Hello. And let's see, anything from Tom Taylor, our council liaison? Nope, okay, and then nobody from Public Works. Okay, that's perfectly fine. I need an approval of the meeting agenda for today.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, all in favor. Okay, all right. Approval of the minutes from the board meeting from February 12th, 2025. Make that motion.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor? Okay, great. All right. So announcement, welcome our new park board member, Paul Winchester. Welcome, Paul. We're
Thank you.
happy to have you. Next up, Paul, do you want anything to say? You don't have to say anything. I don't want to skip over if you.
Excited to be here now.
Good, thank you. We really appreciate your time and volunteering.
Good.
Really, thank you. All right, public communication open for comments for 3 minutes. There's nobody in our audience, but I always start on Zoom anyway. So Jane, hello, Jane.
Good afternoon. How are you guys?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good and welcome to our new member.
Yeah. Do you have anything right now?
Nope, no, I don't.
Okay, great. All right. Well, this might be another fast meeting. All right, old business. So 2025-26 budget request. The walking path was part of that budget request over at Chinook Park. There's a lot of conversation about the issues that are happening at the dog park with the flooding and tying in some drainage to that dog park, a French drain, tying it into the walking trail. So when we start to dig and trench the walking trail, that we could maybe help fix that, the flooding over there at the dog park. So the walking trail is still on. You know, it's going to be done by volunteers. We've asked for about $20,000 in rock from city council to approve that, but all the work has to be done by volunteers. So now that it's in the middle of April, we are getting closer to nicer weather. And usually that's summertime, June, July, August. So I think before we had an ad hoc committee for that, and it was you and Bill, and I believe it might have been Shelley, and Shelley.
Was on it? Yeah.
You were on the
No, there's different.
We were, I think, pickleball.
pickleball.
Yes, yeah.
Did we
But anyway,
have
Shelley,
anything
I think Shelley
more?
was part of that.
I think.
She was that. Okay, so, all right, maybe we didn't do one. We don't need to do an ad hoc for the walking path, that's for sure. But we do need to start talking about that and getting a little bit more serious about how that's gonna go down with the volunteers. And then we also need to talk with the city about how we're gonna tie that in.
Was it your brother-in-law who brought the tractor?
It was.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
I think we might need them as a volunteer.
we
And
might,
it's tractor.
and it's tractor, yeah.
So,
I have a tractor.
And you have a tractor,
Okay.
2 tractors would be good. Perfect. Yeah, so we'll definitely need that and some people, so when the weather gets better.
Can I just briefly, where's the flooding at? I mean, how, the flooding is
Flooding
occurring
is in
because
the
it's
large-
drainage or?
The flooding's in the large dog park.
It's compact.
See,
I don't really necessarily agree that, putting a drain in or a pathway is gonna be a big improvement, but it can't be bad. I think getting some drainage under the digging a big hole outside of it.
Yeah,
Take the water too.
they were talking about like a French drain, like diverting that water while we're digging the trails for the
oh,
walking,
I see, yeah.
and taking it out. So since we're already be there,
Just
we
channel it away.
channel it away, yeah.
And, I think accepted, certainly,
Right, yeah.
you gotta get rid of it.
So how's that gonna impact the budget then? Because the budget was basically for the path, and now we're adding a French drain with more additional rock and.
That would not, that's correct. that would have to be separate, but the thought was if we're going to be digging the path and have the backhoes there, we can just dig and then the city can come in with what they need to do and fix. the
Oh, I
drainage.
see. So,
Yeah, the volunteers wouldn't fix the drainage. I think we would just dig the hole. Is my understanding,
Maybe dig some drain lines and
right,
dig a hole outside the
right,
footprint of the dog.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine it doesn't disperse it, but you said that area is really compacted, but
Well, the grass, I think, doesn't help, and it does, it is, I look at it a lot because of my travels, but, it is underwater.
oh geez.
A good part of the dog park is underwater, a good part,
Oh, that is a problem. Yeah.
and especially the large,
It's-
you know, especially the whole thing, needs some drain.
Yeah.
And it needs to be brought, grass needs to go, and either rock or wood chip needs to.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. I do have a little bit of information on that, but anyway, well, that's still going forward. We just need a big volunteer crew. I just need to talk with the city to see, you know, when we should start thinking about or putting a date down on paper to get that done. So I would push that out to summer.
Yeah, you want it to be
Especially
dry.
since Be this one.
Yeah, yeah. Well, summer's always the most busy time here, so there's never a good time to do improvements. I know, I mean, we all complain when the roads get improved on the highways, but they all need it. Sometimes to be inconvenienced for something for a long-term result is always better, so a little inconvenience, so. Okay, so I asked for an update from Public Works on the cameras at Chinook, North Beach and the skateboard park. And I do know that both the lights and the cameras, they were waiting to hire the on-staff electrician. And I don't know where we are with that. I didn't get an update on that. So I'm just gonna table that for the next meeting. So Emerson Park, I do have some news about that. So they just did the pressure washing over at Emerson Park to prep it. And so Becky did not have a date of when they're gonna start the resurfacing and doing the pickleball line and getting all that done. But that is definitely a go. They got the bid, they approved the bid. And we're actually saving quite a bit of money with this new bid. So we asked for 60,000 and I believe the new bid came in at just over 40,000. So we got to save the city a little bit of money. So that's exciting. So I foresee it needs to be dry, it needs to be sunny and dry for them to do it. So I foresee early summer having a pickleball courts. And I did drive by there today and there was a dad, I think, a dad and a kid playing tennis on it. So I thought it was kind of cool.
Well, can I just add to that? So at the
Yeah.
community center, I've talked to a couple of people. I don't know anything about pickleball.
Yep.
Apparently they have classes over there. They're bringing in people into the sport.
Mhm.
And from the couple of people I've talked to, it's extremely popular. And, you know, there's some real excitement on having an outdoor playing field. So, you know, I think that's gonna be a real benefit over there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we're doing 4 courts, Paul, 4 courts on one of the tennis
Oh,
courts. And
nice.
we're leaving the other tennis court as is
Yeah.
for the true enthusiast. And we'll just see how it goes with these 4. And if there's a bigger demand for
It
more
gets backed
pickleball
up. Yeah.
courts, we can just add to the other
Yeah.
tennis court, add more. Yep.
Cool.
So that's all I have on Emerson. Does anybody have anything on this budget request? Nope. Nothing else? Okay. The basketball courts, we did get the new backboards. However, according to Public Works, the fasteners to fasten the new backboards to the poles that exist don't work. So, and they tried to retrofit and it's not working. So we're not sure. I'm not sure where we are. I asked for an update, but I haven't gotten one. We were gonna see if we get a bid to see if maybe we just replace those poles with ones that can take the new backboards, which are regulation backboards, but the ones we replaced, we thought were regulation, aren't. They weren't regulation. So, and I don't know where we are with that. So we'll just,
I am gonna comment on that. I went
Yeah.
out there, the poles are sound, leaning. It'd be great to straighten them up or replace them. And I've been down this road a little bit before, and I really believe the correct plate can be welded on the existing plates
okay,
that are there.
okay,
Yeah, they're leaning, so it's not perfect, but, the plate can be welded on, take those other plates. I think that would be by far the easiest thing to do.
okay,
That sounds like a simple fix.
It's a relatively straightforward.
okay. I'll let Becky know.
I can't imagine backboard. It's gotta be sort of universal. I mean, it attaches to a pole, right?
Well, so what, it's just it's a J pole, and then they cut off, when they put those backboards that are there now, they cut off the existing plate and put a new plate on to fit those backboards. You could cut that plate off and do it again, but you really don't have to do that. It is a flat plate there, so you can just correctly get the correct plate, put another plate on the existing plate that matches the
Okay.
backboards. And I'm not doing it, so I don't have to do it. But I believe it would be pretty straightforward. I've seen similar.
Okay, so they just need to buy a correct plate.
Or a piece of steel, and if they're gonna be welding it on anyway, so you just get a piece of steel, mark the steel, use the same torch you're using to do the welding, put some holes with it.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I'll let her know. Thank you. So I'll just keep the basketball courts on here under old business, so we can just keep it on our forefront to make sure that's at least getting talked about before it gets
It's,
until it's done.
somebody here remembers, in case I don't, when they're doing the pickleball and tennis courts, I mean, somebody should ask, what it would cost to just come over and go over the lines that exist on a tennis court. It's a real simple job. It's still there, so there'd be no layout involved. It'd be nice to paint. So,
I did. So I did ask Becky to find out, and she thought that was a great idea, number one, but number two, she also said, but the crew, Public Works can do it just as easy too.
okay.
So, yeah, yeah.
Good.
So she said it's just normal paint or something. And
Okay.
all right, so the bylaws, I don't know, the city was gonna go to a very generic bylaw for all the boards and commissions, and I don't know where we are with that. I haven't seen anything come forward. And Paul, bring you up to date, the reason why it's on here was, the Parks Board, I think, is the only board that doesn't have any bylaws.
Oh.
And so we started to create our own bylaws, and the
Okay.
city said, no, we're gonna go to a generic one that's going to cover all the boards and commissions, so they're
Yeah.
all the same. But I don't know where we are with that.
Just use
So-
a standard
A
template.
standard template, correct, yeah. That's why it's still on here. Just
Yeah,
wanna make sure
okay.
that that happens. And then the library benches, I have it on here, just to let you guys know that, the person who was in charge of that is no longer, on the board. But we talked about the foundation taking that over, and I'm gonna have a conversation with the library and, see what they wanna do going forward, but at this point, I'm gonna take it off of the Parks Board and put it onto the foundation solely between the Library Foundation and the Parks Foundation, if that goes. And
How many
it's-
benches are they looking?
it's a specific bench, and it is a literary bench.
Okay.
And they wanted one to start that we were thinking about doing a contest to a lot of the artists out there, specifically Chainsaw, to come up with a design. But the goal is to have the library and have a QR code on this bench, and it be up Chinook Park, the first one, over
Uh-huh.
where the kids' playground is, that you could scan your phone to a QR code, and it would have a child's book that they could sit and listen
Oh,
to
that's
while
cool.
sitting at the bench.
Yeah.
And the library agreed to do that and agreed to
Uh-huh.
pick the book and have it change up like every month or every quarter or something like that.
Yeah.
So, and the person who was on our board was in charge of that, but is no longer on our board.
Uh-huh.
So, the Parks Foundation decided we'll just take it on from here
Yeah,
and then work with the Library Foundation.
so I'm also involved with a, I forget the name of the group.
The arts.
Yeah,
initiative. Yep, that we
Yeah.
met with them. I don't know, were you at that meeting? You Shelley met with them?
no,
And
no, I just
talked
went to
about
the.
it, and they
last-
loved the idea.
We're having a meeting tomorrow night, actually.
Yeah.
It's gonna be over at, the Pizza Factory. They do it like once a month on Thursdays.
Yep, so we did talk to them about it and they were the ones that loved the idea.
Good,
Yeah.
good, yeah.
So I'm just gonna take it off of the Parks Board officially. Any other questions under old business? Questions? No? No? Okay. New business, upcoming RCO grants. So I've been looking and every 2 years, the state of Washington does these larger recreation conservation grants. And I was really excited to see that the Youth Athletic Facilities Grant is back for 2026. And it is up to $1.5 million to revitalize a park. And if you've been coming along with us, which I know a lot of you have, you know that we saw this in 2024 and we could have done it for North Bay, but we were just too late to the grant. So I did forward the information over to Scott and all the powers that be at the administration and said, I think we should go for this. We can completely revitalize North Bay Park, but this year, so in 24, there was a no match requirement. This year is a 50% match requirement. However, good news or bad news, after doing a little bit more digging, we actually qualify for a 30% match right off the bat, just because of where our location is and our mean income is much lower than the state's average. Number one, so we're a 30% regardless. Number two, we could probably qualify for a 10% match just on the location of the park. Because they also will take into consideration where the location of the park is and the general area around that, if their average income is lower. So that's something that they need to investigate to see if we could qualify for a 10% match. But it would really, I mean, and I know for a fact that the covered picnic area is on the capital facilities project. We need a playground, we need a new playground out there. And we need to revitalize the baseball field and that soccer field, and we could probably afford to put artificial turf in with this grant. So, and the high school uses it, so, I mean, I don't see why we don't go for this grant, so. It's up to
Yeah.
the city,
That
though.
seems like a no-brainer.
It seems like a very low hanging fruit, yeah, but, so Scott said he'd look into it, we'll do whatever we can to support the city and get whatever they need to them to get this, but I was really super excited to see that. So hopefully they'll, I don't know.
I didn't look, what was the deadline on to submit?
So the deadline is, it's due on April 30th, 2026.
Oh,
The application opens February 11th, 2026. So we've got time.
oh, yeah, okay, good.
We have time to get somebody out here to do some drawings and figure it out.
And yeah, it'd be good to. This, we're all busy, city people are busy. I think we should make it a habit.
It would be, and I remember when Sarah Bisson was our grant coordinator, the city of Ocean Shores has never received an RCO grant. And they do tend to lean to those cities that have never received money from them. So she goes, we have a really good chance.
I think about 15 million in total to give out.
They have just over 11 million, I think it is, to give out. Yeah.
Hmm.
And they really do lean toward the underserved.
So do we as a board have or should we develop a wish list? You know, a starting point, a wish list, this is what. the
Yeah.
projects we would leave, or should we just leave it up to the city that?
So
has-
no, Scott did email, he said, what's your vision? And I told him exactly
No.
what I thought that they should go for over at North Bay Park, should be the vision of that youth facilities, which is the playground equipment, the new covered patio area, and the baseball field and a soccer field. Out there, those three
Okay,
things for
alright.
sure. I'd say new restrooms, but the restrooms aren't bad. They're really not that bad.
And the money wouldn't be.
I didn't think so. I think that
That gets expensive.
I think the baseball field alone with some artificial turf will take up a huge chunk of it because it's a very large area.
Lighting need to be improved out there or any of that.
Yeah, yeah, we could probably do some new lights out there, but our lights are pretty good. They work, but
Well, the light in that, well, if you lit the baseball, or you lit the outfield, you lit the baseball. field, soccer,
Yep.
games,
Yeah.
short seasons. It's not a lot, because of the airport, there's not a lot of residential pushback. This is a big problem. Lights are expensive.
Yeah.
City level. I'm wondering if the matching money could also be the maintenance. I know the grant won't pay for any maintenance, but the city's gonna have a, they'll have a maintenance obligation that gets built that will need to be thought of.
well, the others, and I don't know if this is even possible, but the school district uses. So I don't know if they can step in with some of the matching money and say, yes, we'll, help by, giving some money. I'm speaking out of turn. I know, I don't know, but that's something to consider since they are the ones that use the baseball
I
field.
think that'd get leverage into this grant too, the fact that the school.
It's a
Correct.
dual purpose.
Yeah, not just a community park, but
Mhm.
kind of essential to the district.
An artificial turf would be nice. It's
Yeah.
environment.
Yes, it would be great. Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. So anyways, I was really excited because I wasn't sure if they were going to be able to offer those, but they did. They were able to bring back a few of those grants. So I'm really excited. So anything else under that was the only grant that I saw that really we could utilize and be worth our time.
Hmm.
So, I don't have anything to discuss. So next are park inspection reports. And so Paul, you're new.
Mhm.
So I will give you some parks
Okay,
and then all we do is we just go out there, we put our eyes on it and report back anything that we see. So, and you'll kind of get an idea when we give our parks reports.
yeah.
So I have Spinnaker, Emerson and Marine View. Spinnaker's fine. Emerson is being used, so that was kind of fun and Marine View's great. The only thing I'm gonna say, and I send an email over to Public Works and let them know what we come up with, if there's something that needs to be improved on.
Sure.
All of the signs that say which park it is, have crushed oyster shells on those are all growing with weeds, every single one that I've driven by.
Hmm.
So they just need to be pulled and cleaned up. I did actually go by, and Becky's not here, so I did go by Chinook, Gunderson and Southeast Grand Canal. And there are a lot of potholes in the drive of Chinook. Dog Park, it was mowed. Chinook Park was mowed, Dog Park was mowed, but it's never weed eaten. And it just, I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know if they don't weed eat anymore, but it's just really tall grass all around the fence line. And it just doesn't look nice at
Mhm.
all.
Even if they just weed eat it every other time or something.
I don't know, but yeah, so it just needs a little bit of love over at that dog park. And of course, there was a lot of standing water there. It rained pretty hard yesterday, but there was a dog in the large dog park. And speaking of the cover, I didn't talk about that. We are getting a price for the engineered wood chips to put into the dog park as a new, top.
Hmm.
So we are getting the price for that. It's gonna be a lot of money. It's gonna be a lot of money, but you're right, we do need some kind of different top out there, because the grass, it's not working. And I don't think anybody would argue the fact that that is probably the number one most used.
The only drawback with the wood chips is if you get flooding, they float.
Well, if we get the right drainage.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that has to be done first.
and it's gotta be, what, 6 inches deep?
No, yeah, I don't. 6 inches on.
Yeah, so it's gotta be pretty thick down there,
Mhm.
so, but you're right. And then southeast, let's see, so that was Chinook, Gunderson. I think the is it Dan, out there? Can't remember his name. He just mowed it, looked good. And Southeast Grand Canal was fine. Actually, there was somebody standing out there. So those are, all I have to report. Bill, you have Lions Club Skate Park and we gave you Northeast Grand Canal.
Yes, and again, the Lions Club Milo Shred, it's fine. I
It
did
looks so
see-
much better.
Yeah. It feels a lot better. The weather, I'm sure, is still bad enough to where people aren't using it, but everything is in really good condition, nothing broken, no trash, no anything. The skate park, I was a little, I thought I was concerned, I don't think I am anymore, so that half pipe yesterday had about 1.5 inches of water, and I thought, oh, maybe it needs drainage. I went out today, it's all drained, so I don't think that's an issue. I was mentioning it, but I think it's probably already taken care of, so.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's no graffiti and all the tools are still in place. And
Yeah. The
actually,
foundation bought a new broom in February.
well, I used the squeegee today and it's working fine.
Okay.
It looks like somebody else had actually went and squeegeed it off, so. But yeah, that's okay. And then the Northeast Grand,
Mhm.
I know there was some concern about the dogs out there. There was a few places I checked, the bags are still there, so it's not a matter of no bags.
Mhm.
Little bit of trash,
Little
not bad.
trash,
I picked-
okay.
I picked it up, but
Oh,
it's not like,
that bad.
no,
Okay.
no, it's not like there's people camping out there. However, well, I did find somebody's pack that had been in the water, like their
Really?
clothes, toiletries,
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
I took, he had a bunch of pills in there. I took those to the police department.
Oh, my gosh. Wow, thanks.
So it's weird. It was sitting in the water with the helmet and everything.
That is weird.
Yeah, somebody left their, or forgot to pick it up. Anyway, long story short, yeah, it's fine.
Thank you. You get the above and beyond Parks Board Award.
It's
It's really
I
nice.
was looking at the water flow.
Yeah,
I
no,
looked
thank
out there and
you.
it's a helmet, a big sack of clothes. It's like, really? You gotta be kidding me. I
Oh,
mean,
gosh,
a can's okay, but then,
right.
suitcase full of crap.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. Okay, Jeff.
Texmar looked, could use a little weed eating in TLC.
Okay.
Blackberry starting to come out, but otherwise it's good. I don't know if they do. Weeds are starting to come out, whether they spray it or not. So, I don't know, the city does, but it was my first, I mean, I've been out to Texmar before, but it was the first time I did an inspection on it, but yeah, it's completely decent. Very little used.
Yeah.
Limpet, unused, but not growing. The neighbors kind of take care of waters and it's completely fine. North Beach, lights have been, lights have been repaired. We talked about that. They corrected the infield and put some infield mix in there. There are some weeds coming through that infield. There's also some weeds coming through in the play area. The play area was being used. It was nice to see kids there. Docks are being used, multiple fishermen. I saw one boat go in and another boat go out there, so it's being used. There were, a dozen plus people there. Bathrooms are all clean. A little bit of trash in one picked up, but it was good. And being maintained, especially, I guess that the high school is doing a little baseball out there. It's getting.
Great. So I will email everybody their new park assignments since we have a new board member, so be on the lookout for that email. All right, back to our public comment. We have a few more people in audience, but I'm always going to start with people on Zoom. So Jane, you're up if you want to make a comment.
Yes, I just wanted to talk about North End Grand Canal there too. Bill's right, that happens quite a bit. I've also pulled backpack out of there. And the other thing is that we've been talking about for quite a while is the garbage that's actually in the canal there, that everybody's trying to figure out a good way to get out of there. I will also say, walking my dog down there every day, I'm starting to be concerned about part of that grass path that goes along the canal, the walking path. Is there's cracks in it and it appears that it's starting to slough off. Probably not much we can do about it other than it's something might become a safety hazard down the road. So just wanted to let you know about that.
Okay, thank you. So, just so I heard you correctly though, real fast. So the grass path along the canal, I know exactly what you're talking about. So you're starting to see some sloughing, right? Some
Yeah.
like of the mud kind of sloughing off and going into the water.
Good, correct.
Okay.
Nothing's gone in the water yet, but there are some really
Okay.
big cracks to where you're going to start losing chunks out of it. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
and that's it.
All right, thanks, Jane.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Andy.
Yes, the planning commission designed a path around the city, entire city. The library has a map of it. Is the Parks Board involved with that at all?
No, the only time that we were involved in that was, to put into the Parks Comprehensive Plan.
What?
In the Parks Comprehensive Plan. That was it.
Okay.
Mhm. Nope.
Honey,
Hi.
in Triangle Park One,
Mhm.
we contacted, builders out here that were taking down trees. And they would give us free wood chips.
Okay,
So now, it's not always pure and clean material. So, but you have to coordinate with them. Essentially what they wanted to know is where we wanted them to dump it in piles, then we had to come move it about. So I don't know if you're considering that an option. You said you were looking at wood chips for
Yeah.
a certain area. So
Thank you.
that's something to maybe consider, yes.
I think they have to be engineered. I think they can't have the shards.
Oh, and, yeah, I think you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Basically, the same thing's gonna go fire.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
Okay. Well, Triangle Park is completely navigable. We have people come in and walk through it all. The one thing is we do have weeds that come up through it, so, but, free is a very, very good price.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right, you're right. I just think that they have to be engineered for other reasons.
Yeah, I understand. And in the 3/4, those are color chipped and we do pay for those. And we do that every other year and it costs us about $700 to do those.
If nobody's ever been out to Triangle Park 1 or Triangle Park 2, which is not very far away, you really should go. It's beautiful. I mean, they do a great job out there, so thank you.
Did you try our benches out there?
I think I've been out there, yeah.
So Ron Thomas
Yeah.
and John made those benches.
Yeah, I met Ron. He's great.
Okay, yeah. Ron's been here forever and ever.
Yes.
This is his 39th year here.
He's been here a long time. Yeah, he's good. He's a good man.
So I'm just glad to see the city's waking up from winter and
Yeah,
getting things all spruced up, so.
yeah, for
Good
sure.
direction.
Okay, well, thank you. Okay, so now we go to reports. It's basically, Paul, just like a good of the order, just call it report.
Okay.
Usually hear from our council liaison if they have anything to say, Public Works if they're here. And we do have a student liaison and he is the first of its kind here in the city and we're super happy to have him as part of the Parks Board. His name is Elton Rocky.
Oh, cool.
And he's our rep from the school. So we love having him as our go-to for listening to what the students' needs are, or if we're doing something that want the high school students or the elementary school students, Elton is our person. So
That's great.
he's on Zoom today. Normally he's actually here. So hi, Elton, and you are on mute. So if you have anything to report or just say hi. Oop, you're on mute. I can come back to you, Elton.
We've all been where you're at.
I know. All right.
Maybe you stepped away.
Oh, unfortunately, I have no available microphone at the moment. Okay,
Good job, though.
I know. All right. So Elton, do you have anything to say, type out from the school side of things? Wait for you to respond via typing. Elton also helped me do the Instagram account for the city, so it's really all
Good to have
Elton.
him.
They have one shed.
Yeah, it's good to go. All right, well. All right. Okay, all right, new current updates. All right, thanks, Elton. And let's see, so I do have something, so I don't know if you guys remember. Boy, last November, October, November, or maybe it was even earlier than that, the Public Health Department had put out that survey that they did on youth third spaces. And a third space, Paul, is a space where kids can go that's not their house and not their school or church. So a third space, so, like a Boys and Girls Club or a YMCA or some other spot, right? Because the county did a county-wide survey, asking youth, like, where do they go? What do they do? Do they have something like that? Well, for some reason, Ocean Shores wasn't included in that survey for whatever reason. I don't know if we didn't respond to it, the school didn't respond, I don't know. But anyway, I got this report, and so I reached out to the person who's in charge, her name's Jessica. And I said, well, Ocean Shores, we are really remote. I mean, if anybody should have the survey done, it should be our city.
Yeah.
So myself and one of the other Parks Board members, we went to the school during, when they had the teacher conferences. And we talked to a lot of the students and the parents. And then we also had the counselor out there ask students ask them all these questions. So we got all the information and sent it out. Not really sure what was going to happen with this, but then fast forward, a couple months ago, Jessica reached out to me, and with all the budget cuts, they've scrapped the third youth space. So I know. So that was sad to hear. So they're not going to pursue doing anything with the information. But what she did say was, if she sees any type of grants that are very specific for third youth spaces that could benefit us, she would let it. And so, I mean, we're still out there, but they're just not going to pursue anything from grants from
Yeah.
the county public health.
Will they be able to do the survey?
We already did the survey.
Okay,
It was just saying that, there's a need.
yeah.
And so with that information, they could have then pursued grants, but it takes them to do it, and they're not gonna take the staff resources to pursue those grants. So she says if something comes across her desk that maybe we could go after, that she would forward.
Okay,
Okay, so anyway, it's kind of sad to hear that, but I understand. So
yeah.
anyway, that happened. I met with the foundation. I am on the Parks Board Foundation, and we're going to talk about taking over, and we'll talk about, which is our literary benches with the library. That's really all I've been up to. Bill, how about you?
Nothing to report.
Okay, Jeff,
Nothing to report.
and Becky's not here, and Paul, you have
Nothing.
nothing to report. Okay, well, our next meeting is May 14th, 2025 at 1 o'clock here. It is 1:38. I need a motion to adjourn.
So.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Thanks, everyone. All right.